Oh my God, it's not serious Star Trek at all. It's serious sci-fi. So now let's bring in your host and mine. Uh what is he today, man? Oh gosh, we're out of a Star Trek fascist military context. So today he'll be Vice Chancellor Larry Young. Hey Larry.
Hey, Dantron. I can't. Oh, regular Dan. Are you regular Dan or Dantron?
I
You
don't
are
know,
Dantron.
man. Today I could be somewhere in between.
I
Let's
was
see.
telling. I'm sorry we had that schedule thing. I was telling the missus, hey, I was. I'll go get some groceries for us. We were out of Parmesan cheese and non-stick aluminum foil. And then you called and you're like, "Are we doing this today?" And I'm like, "Hell yeah!" And I just got home, so I didn't have a chance to put on any outfits or anything. I was looking around actually. There's nothing even like really here as my discovery phaser. Oh, parts falling off.
Well, I don't know what we've got in the way of There wasn't much in the way of Star Trek going on anyway, right, Larry? So it's like science fiction is where it's at.
Yeah. I mean, there wasn't much going on for me. Our good pal Alan McElroy wrote the latest episode of Star Trek Discovery, but like a tween, I forgot that it was on Thursday, and so the new one's on today, and I'm like, so I'm 2 behind on Star Trek, and yeah, I don't know, I can't explain it. So let's do some sci-fi, right?
Sure, dude. I mean, you can catch up on both those with John maybe next week. God knows I'm not getting anywhere near that shit fest. Like, why would I, when I listen to you guys every week telling me it's the worst thing ever?
Yeah, well, next week you might want to check out Picard season 2 starts, and all reports are that that's pretty cool.
Okay.
I don't know. It seems like another time travel thing, and Q showing up, and I don't know. It seems like very derivative of the old stuff, and not a lot of Strange New Worlds. But yeah, I'll whatever. I'll see it. I know Patrick Stewart's like, God bless him. He's 103, 104 years old. So it's not like he's running down corridors and punching Borg queens and stuff anymore.
Did you ever see that show Extras, Ricky Gervais Extras?
Yeah, I think I saw 1 or 2 of them. I saw wasn't Daniel Radcliffe was on one of those, I'm pretty sure.
Oh yeah, he was great. He was really funny in it.
Yeah, I saw that one a long time ago. I don't really remember it.
Maybe I'll bring the Patrick Stewart clip in from that sometime, because that one is hilarious, where he's talking about his private passion movie project. But he's just a pervert. It's great. I love that show. Speaking of things I love, Larry. So two things. I got 2 things on the Dantron agenda. I want to announce. Would somebody help me? I was trying to work out a great name for this, and somebody gave it to me in a nutshell. It's the March of Independence. Okay.
So, yeah. I read about that.
For the month of March.
You named it. That's cool.
I'm going to try as much as humanly possible. And of course, we just dove into like a major world geopolitical affair.
Yeah, I know, huh?
But I'm going to try to stay away from any mainstream mega corporatized media sources that I can. That means no big budget Hollywood pictures. That means not even, I was thinking about this. The hardest one is going to be music, I think. Most of my news, I'm already completely away from any corporate media sources. For the most part, I watch a lot of YouTube. But so I'm going to try to stay away from as much of it as possible and talk about as much and try and fill the void in, though, besides with my family, blah, 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 fresh air and sunshine, whatever. I'm going to fill it in with independent media.
I think that I really admire that. I think that's bold. I couldn't do that. I couldn't go a day because I really I don't have any use for music. I don't listen to music except in the car. I'll turn on, if I'm doing something around the house, like laundry or errands or puttering around, I'll just put on Star Wars or Raiders of the Lost Ark, right? So that's corporate stuff. And
it's
even the book.
difficult, man, for
So
music, like
books.
even what your options are. Like you
Let
don't
me
think
ask
about
you.
Bob Dylan being corporate or whatever, but it is. It's put out through a major corporation, major label. So like, it's going to be SoundCloud, I think, for me for music.
You can't really, and like it takes out books, right? Books is a corporate thing. So even if you're reading some kind of, super cool, I don't know. I got the Buckaroo Banzai novel, the new one, and I read like the first 20 pages, and then it's just sitting next to my bed because there's so much crap going on. But like that's Bantam or Random House.
Exactly. Yeah, that
right?
would be off the table in March for me.
Yeah.
But there's plenty of books out there by indie authors, like an unlimited sea of them, to be honest, in this day and age that I could download or whatever. And I'm not a big novel guy these days anyway. It's comics mostly, as you know.
Yeah.
But that's where there's an embarrassment of riches.
Well, you know how I feel about independent comics. I think
there's none better, right? Those are the best of them all.
I love independent comics, and frankly, I'm mad when people do colored superheroes because I think everything should be black and white and a genre that's not covered by Marvel and DC.
Someday we'll be there, I think. And that's my whole thing is that like I feel like these guys only have power. They only have power from the attention that we give them. And sometimes we're giving them too much. And for the first time ever, well, I don't want to say first time ever. Like comics flattened as far as like you could put out something as good as the state of the art comic. That's been since the 80s, I'd say. Like it's within reach of, but now it's gotten to that point for TV shows and movies and certainly radio and like podcasts and stuff. So
yeah, there's a weird expectation now too because of social media. Like one of my buddies is trying to get into Diamond to get his thing listed, and one of their criteria, I know stuff changes, and actually when we started slowing down, they wanted UPC symbols on floppies, and I was like, that's just too much of a pain in the ass at the level that we were at. So, Black Diamond just snuck in, and then I'm like, okay, we'll just do books from now on. And then it became like you can only use 15 words in your solicitation. And I was like, wait, what? Now, guess what they have now? You have to have 1,000 followers on Twitter.
Whoa, okay.
And I'm like, really?
Sorry. Sorry.
It's just Twitter has nothing to do with independent comics, Like people can use it. It's a great social, media platform. I'm not on it, so I can't publish anything anymore because I don't have 1,000 followers. I don't have one follower. I think Twitter's stupid. I think they're stupid for saying that. But you can't tell them that or they won't carry your book.
Oh man, that is really sad.
Yeah, so that's that. I'm like, and they said Twitter too, which is like picking sides, right? Totally. I'm like, I have 5,000 followers I have 5,000 friends on Facebook. Does that count? No. 1,000 followers on Twitter. Like,
man, I hadn't heard about
that.
You
get what you get. Yeah, no, I just found this out yesterday, so I don't know how new it is.
Well, but, Larry, I don't want to put you on the spot here, Larry. But, there's if you've got older stuff that you still own the rights to, how about some print on demand love for some of the out of print stuff?
Yeah, I mean, technically the stuff that we still have rights to, I have boxes in the garage.
That's
it's technically not out of print. But yeah, I mean, I just, I can't figure out that print on demand stuff and all that. I'd just rather write something. And that's why the book thing wouldn't bother me, because I don't read independent stuff because I would just write my own independent stuff.
Yeah. I mean, why is it for like, we'll read plenty of indie comics, but I guess it's just the distribution mechanism and the gatekeepers and stuff. It's so different in the big publishing world.
Oh yeah.
And this is just what we were just talking about. So maybe we could keep talking about that. It's kind of comic book, but it's science fiction. The new Jack Kirby fully painted Fantastic Four original graphic novel which looks incredible, is not coming out from Marvel Comics. It's coming out from Abrams Comics Arts imprint or whatever.
Yeah, just let me interrupt real quick. You said Jack Kirby instead of Alex Ross.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well,
so that's gonna confuse the kids.
Sorry.
I knew what you're talking about.
I'm doing it because it's a complete like honoring
it's a Kirby thing.
Like he's doing fully painted things that look like the old Kirby collages.
Oh, that's cool.
You know,
I love that in his version of 2001 where he was just clipping stuff out of the newspaper and pasting it down and drawing over it. That I love stuff like that. And
that 1941, the Rick Veitch thing that's how they did it too. You look at it now and you would swear like, oh, this is Photoshop or something. It's right. So perfectly done.
Yeah.
It used to take a lot of skill to do that. So not like today where we got shit like this where I could just like drag shit. I made a thumbnail in 20 seconds for this. Look at the big brain on Daddy here who can.
You know what's cool about
together broadcast television with like 10 minutes notice, Larry. Not even that.
That's what's so cool though, is because you know the tools, right? Like to me, that it looks amazing, and you're like, oh yeah, I just banged this out. And I'm like even as the show was starting today, you started the Star Trek thing, and Enterprise goes by and says Dantron 182. Like that's not getting less funny, right? and every time I see that, it just makes me laugh. And yeah, you did that in like minutes, right?
Well, the beauty of this stuff is that I go like, it seems like minutes, like it's seconds on the screen, and it's hours of me like learn a technique, find the things, boil it. But like that's all me learning software. So it's fun.
Right.
But then at the end, the way I try to produce these things, I'm not making a big film and movie, but there's all these themes. So every time I have a Tom and a Crow overlay like this, it can just keep reusing it in different contexts over and over again in thumbnails. Or now I wanted to bring all those things that I was saving for thumbnails and bring them to like live video.
Ooh.
And that's what we're in, the danger room right now. So, guys, this is the new hotness, and I'll be releasing this software soon. So you could do this on Zoom meetings if you want to get fired.
If you want to get fired.
Yeah.
That's great. I love that you got kind of like a MODOK leader thing going on there. And that hair, that's amazing.
That's the greatest special effect of them all.
Yeah, man. That's a lot of work on your part. Man,
I'm almost into comb over territory. I can't wait to be there.
And would not let me do that. I mean, you can see, right? I mean,
Larry, I do have some sci-fi stuff that I wanted to talk about. Like I said, I dove in. I wanted to get one last bit of like corporate media in. So before the March of Independence, and it's like, what is a classic sci-fi movie I haven't watched in a long time that's kind of underrated, although it's starting to get a renaissance? And that movie was Starship Troopers.
Oh, yeah. You think that's underrated, huh?
Well, I definitely think at the time that it came out, a lot of people didn't get it.
Yeah, no, I agree.
And that it didn't do that well at the box office. It deserved to do better. I mean, it had sequels, I guess, but like straight to video sequels and stuff.
But yeah, it's a going concern. I mean, they had their theatrical movies, but they had TV shows and CG animated cartoon shows, and yeah, if you were digging that world, you had a bunch of stuff to go through.
Well, including the original novel by no less than like Robert Heinlein, right? So I started reading that. I just got it. I started reading it, and right away I was struck by like how much was similar, but how much was so different.
Yeah.
Just especially in the way it was maybe just a budget thing. Like they had money to spend on bugs. They didn't have money to spend on. Have you read it?
I have, way back in the day, but yeah, that was actually my thing. Sitting in the theater, it's like I kind of missed the drop suits from how they got from the ships to the planet. They just had these giant anime robot things and jumped out the side of their ship, and that was kind of like part of the trooping thing to me, you know. having read the book. Steve Ukraine. I agree. Although I don't know. I
don't know if I agree. That's what's so hard, because Verhoeven he's the god of sci-fi, like mainstream directors in my mind. Like nobody did satire, such biting, great satire on top of great sci-fi with fucking hardcore action, dude.
That's such a sci-fi thing that like he's the guy instead of like Ridley Scott.
Yes.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, Paul, I don't know. I love his RoboCop, I gotta say.
Dude, Total Recall and RoboCop.
Yeah. I don't have the love for Total Recall that you young kids do.
Oh, really?
But yeah, it's just kind of seems dopey. But man, is that the one? Is Rosario Dawson in that? No, she's in Pluto Nash.
But Sharon Stone's in it, though, I think.
Sharon Stone's in it. Yeah, she plays his wife. I love Philip K. Dick, and I read the novel or short story or whatever, and it's so much
underrated
better.
One here.
Oh, I love Hollow Man. That's a great.
I mean, also the fact though that his films were not. I mean, special effects tour de forces, like showing us stuff we had never seen before, or in a way that was so much better.
Oh, I agree.
And yet with that and funny as hell with that super satire edge of RoboCop. Or
all right, you talked me into it. He is better than Ridley Scott.
I mean, I like Ridley.
No, I love Ridley. I love Blade Runner. I love
if I go like social messages that I believe in, that I want to see put into a mainstream audience in a way that kind of goes over their head, that's when I go to Starship Troopers, though, right?
Look at that cast, though. That cast is incredible. Casper Van Dien and Dina Meyer, Nazi Doogie Howser. Who doesn't love that?
And such a pure version of Denise Richards. Just
oh my god, yeah.
Before she was despoiled.
I almost didn't even want to bring that up because she's kind of her own special effect in that movie, right?
Amazing.
Yeah.
And people say they cast him because they're kind of dumb, but I thought Casper Van Dien was good in his part as what he was.
At the time, who do you get for Johnny Rico? I thought he was great.
Yeah, who else?
Because you have to kind of play like this plastic dope that's not plugged into politics and society. So at the end, when he's like, "Come on, do you want to live forever?" It resonates, right? I thought he was great.
I can't think of at that time it would have been like Luke Perry or whatever. It would have been someone of that.
But that's why I love him, because somebody like that's going to take away that you're like, oh, that's the guy from that sitcom, or his career is going great, I guess. But like you kind of, for the main guy, even Michael Ironside, even though he was well-known character actor at the time, and sci-fi guys loved him from V, the first V. He was a great sort of drill instructor. He was awesome. I loved it.
He wasn't the drill instructor. He was the teacher, Rad, and then he was the leader of the Roughnecks.
Right. He would, yeah.
The drill instructor was the guy Zim who busts himself down to private.
Clancy Brown. Yeah,
and is ultimately kind of the hero of the movie, right?
I love Clancy Brown in literally everything because of the Kurgan and Ukraine.
Oh, I didn't even. Yeah, he's the Kurgan, huh? Of course.
Oh man, like that guy has such a great career, down to like he plays like the prison warden in Phineas and Ferb, the kids' cartoon show, and it's like, dude, that guy can do everything.
Okay, if you're only in Highlander and Starship Troopers, though, is as in such key pivotal roles, you're a legend.
Dude, he's Rawhide in Buckaroo Banzai. I was telling you that's what I'm going to read instead of joining you in the March of Independence. I got to read my corporate Buckaroo Banzai. Oh yeah, he's Mr. Crab too. Yeah.
And then not to mention Doogie, right? Like when you can get your hero's moment is like a Nazi SS trooper being so excited that the enemy is afraid. Like that's and then everybody cheers like, yes, fear.
And it's the alien vagina thing that's afraid too, which is just so funny.
True, but it got its due, Larry.
Yeah, no, I know. Censored.
And the little propaganda film moments like
Oh,
this too.
just the whole would you like to know more in the corner? That totally presaged what we do every day, right?
Okay, so that reminds me that would you like to know more? So at the end, when the drill sergeant, the second in command of the squad, remember he sacrifices himself with the nuke. He's the guy who's whenever they go the Roughnecks, he goes, Radcheck's Roughnecks, Rico's Roughnecks.
Wait, that's not Gary Busey's kid, is it?
No, not that guy. It's actually it's the dude from The Wire. Actually, he was the bald black cop, Herc's partner.
Guess what? Wire. I've never seen The Wire.
Oh, Larry,
I know. Everyone says that to me.
But so anyway, at the end, he's in his final moment. He's there with the nuke, and he's fired. He's firing. He goes, "Come on, get some! Come on, get some!" And I swear, you have to really listen. I can't tell for sure, but it sounds. He's either saying, "You want some more," or he's saying, "Do you want to know more?" It really sounds like you could definitely make a case for he's repeating the propaganda.
Yeah,
in this moment of death.
I choose to think it's that.
Yeah,
I don't even remember that scene, but it's much better if he goes, "Do you want to know more?" Yeah, that's great. Anyway, so you're making me want to watch that again.
It's longer than I remembered, and at the end, the message does seem to sort of water down a little bit until the It's so I get where it was hard to see it as an anti-war, anti-militaristic message that I think ultimately it was meant to be.
Well, that's an interesting point, even for the audience, is I think everybody had been trained to see the next big spectacular, and they just didn't get that it was supposed to be satire, so why is this so broad? Why are the characters painted in such large breadth? This is just crap. It's no, he's asking you to think about it for a second, right?
Well, it's literally only a second too. There's one point where the reporter's like, "And what about those people who say that maybe the bugs are innocent? Maybe this is all just a big psyop by the government?" It's for the only good bug's a dead bug.
Oh yeah, I wish I'd seen that more recently. But man, Steve is making me think of all of the Paul Verhoeven movies. I didn't know that Hollow Man was a Verhoeven thing, but that's because Rona Mitra has her first on-screen part in that, when he's creeping on his next door neighbor that's getting undressed, testing out his invisibility powers. That's Rona Mitra who at the time was the Tomb Raider girl. Speaking of corporate stuff, she was the model that they had going to electronic stuff.
Hollow Man is one that I'm sure I saw probably in the theater and might never have seen again. So I might have to go back and check that.
It definitely speaks to your point about how Verhoeven shows you stuff, familiar stuff that you haven't seen in quite that way before. So when he injects himself with the stuff that turns him invisible, he goes invisible from the skin down.
Yeah.
And so instead of just blinking out, or where they stop the camera, or some chroma key thing in the back of my house, they actually did a lot of work until you get down to the circulatory system and the skeletal stuff, and you're yeah, that's pretty disturbing. That's exactly what Kevin Bacon's bones look like. I'm sure of it. It was just such high quality.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. Verhoeven, his gore, dude, it's almost at trauma levels in some of his movies, in Total Recall, even, especially in Total Recall, I'd say, with Kuato and Arnold's eyes are about to explode on Mars and stuff. He pushed that edge in a way like Peter Jackson did too. That was gory, much more gory, I think, than we seeing a big Hollywood film usually.
Even his stuff that's supposed to be taken as normal and just kind of science fiction-y, like when Arnold has the fat girl suit and it kind of unfolds,
Yes.
and the like
That's
vacant
amazing.
look on the taxi driver, like even that stuff is not supposed to be gory, but it's super disturbing. It's like, I don't think that would work as well in real life as you think, Paul.
Like,
But you know,
not to mention that was a pre-CGI thing too. That mask. That
yeah, that was all practical effects.
I was going to say just about it was super impractical as an actual disguise, but
Right,
like,
right. Well, I thought it was kind of funny though. How do you get a costume for a guy Arnold size, right? Make him a big fat woman? That's kind of funny.
yeah, no, it was great, and yeah, and you can't pull it off. Like if it was Arnold in makeup, you would immediately like
Yeah, that's
see
its
the gag.
own different kind of satire, right? I mean, Arnold in drag. Well, he kind of did that in Mr. Freeze, right?
Talk about a missed opportunity. That was really signaled, I think, the downfall not just of the Batman movies at the time, but like of Arnold himself.
Civilization.
Yeah,
Downfall of civilization. Yeah, those Batman movies near the end. I got Batman down a long time ago. I'm not looking forward to this Pattinson.
You're not hyped up for Pattinson?
My kid is, so that kind of takes me along. Like we have some of the cool Lego toys already and a Batarang and stuff like that. He's looking forward to it, but I'm just like, yeah, I'll go see it with you. I'll be psyched and I'll have opinions, but like I just don't care about Batman anymore. I just don't.
I think I do, but I think maybe I don't know Pattinson. Maybe he's grown up a little bit, and I only saw him when he was a kid or something. But like, he seems like a kind of a fey little thing, dude. Not like what Batman needs to be.
I'm not really up to date on his career, but like the second I made, some sparkly Batman Twilight vampire joke, a couple of my buddies came out of the woodwork with like, there's some movie he's a lighthouse keeper, and there's just some stuff where he's like super raw and deranged, and they're like, he's going to be great. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not really even talking about that it's him. It's just the whole design of it. Like,
the Riddler stuff.
Yeah, the Riddler, that's ridiculous. The Batmobile's like a muscle car, and then apparently there's some kind of crazy twist, like it's all a dream or something. And that's just going to make me mad.
Oh, no.
That's going to make me mad if that's true, because if it's all a dream, why are we sitting here? Why are we doing this?
To tell you the truth, I kind of like the muscle car idea, because if you're really Batman, you're not going to have who's custom making your fins, who's in there doing all the, you're going to get stock parts, and you're going to have a car that you can just abandon, and it's going to just be like a car, like you're going to have a bunch of cars.
Yeah, see, I agree with you 100%, but that's not what they did.
Yeah, right.
I mean, they put flames and neon and shit. Like, yeah, have him have like a junky 1981 Corvette that's black, right? And that's just what he shows up in. Or some, okay, make it a new car if the corporate guys need, product placement, but just have it be just a regular car if he's on like year 1.5 or whatever this is supposed to be. He's got, if you see his costume, he's got like arrow quarrels on his thing, like throwing darts, and it's just like, all right, if you're that guy, why do you have a Batmobile, right? I don't know. It's because you can't do a Lego 1979 Corvette.
Of course. And dude, I think that's pretty reasonable too. Like, whenever people complain about Batman, or like, it's like, it used to be that it was not hardcore enough, and it's like,
yeah. Well,
kids love Batman. Who doesn't want to like a pretty fun Batman? Like the Batman the animated series took it to the perfect level of where it was dark and it was violent, but kids could still completely get into it and love it.
My kid like cracked through like 3 seasons of that like in a day or something crazy.
Yeah. I still think it's the best Batman we've seen on screen.
Huh.
Like all ages, like that literally is a thing that's like a kid can enjoy and an adult can legitimately enjoy. That Mask of the Phantasm movie, it's been a long time since I watched it, but I remember that being really, really good.
I love there was a Joker Christmas episode I thought was pretty good. And I like the Gray Ghost one because, I'm in the tank for Adam West. So that was great. Do you remember there was the guy who inspired Batman was like a shadow kind of guy called the Gray Ghost.
Oh, I don't
And they
remember.
got Adam West to do the voice. So it's kind of a resonating story,
Yeah.
But cartoons, I don't know. I don't have an opinion.
You're so anti-cartoon, Larry.
I just don't care. There's no stakes to me, It's
as opposed to the fake actor who's not really getting shot at. It's just
but you can squint, right? Like maybe that is real. Maybe okay, here comes a joke. Maybe Alec Baldwin really did kill somebody. Oh my god. How did he say that?
He did, right?
That's what I'm saying. So there's movies, there is, 3 people got shot over 70 years of motion picture, so it's not like a thing, but there is chances are not 0 that an actor could, get hurt. So
we got Brandon Lee, and we got
there was one more.
Eric Hexum, John
Eric Hexum, right. That's
that was a TV show, I thought. Maybe it was a movie.
No, it was a show. It was
it was a show I liked, as I remember.
Well, the show you liked probably was the Voyager, the time travel thing with him.
Oh, Voyager. Oh, yeah, that's right. That's
but the show he did that on was some nighttime soap with girls in slinky dresses that was completely forgotten.
It was like a spy thing. It was like Impossible Wannabe. It was perfect for me at that age. I was I was all into spy gadgets and stuff.
Yeah,
and it was on the set of that thing that he what he did. But you just brought me back serious sci-fi. How have we not seen a return of Voyagers? Like it's never been rebooted.
I think we kind of did though. At least in the world, the niche that occupies. Like, did you ever see that show Timeless? I should tell my friend Nancy Sen that I'm gonna give her a shout out in this episode at the 32-minute mark. But this great show about guy steals a time machine and prototype time machine, and then they have to, a real time machine to go mess up the timeline, and the good guys like fire up the prototype that's clunky and doesn't really work to try to chase them through time. And they did everything that you're not supposed to do in time travel shows. They like did the JFK assassination. They did who shot like Lincoln, like in the first 3 episodes. And they're like, you guys are just going to be waiting for all this. But what happened was they pitched it to, like they used social media to tell everybody, like, look, this is all historically accurate. You can watch this show in your 8th grade history class and everything is factually correct. And then somebody on the show started doing like talking points for teachers. And so it actually got canceled after the first year. And all these middle school teachers, like in Texas and Tennessee, lost their minds. They're like, you have to bring this show back because this is valuable to us. And like, do what you have to do. And they actually did. They brought it back.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So I got 2 seasons. But anyway, it's the same kind of show as that Voyagers, is that at the end of Voyagers, I don't know if you remember because you were a kid, but they would have a thing like, well, if you enjoyed the thing about visiting Cleopatra,
right.
check out this, and this book. Now it would be links if they did that. But kids are savvy.
Quantum Leap was a similar type of concept too, right? Like jump in the timeline to set things right, and you back until you did. I always just wanted to know more about the backstory of Phineas Bogg and that Omni. Like, where the heck did
where'd that come from? Yeah. No, I'm with you. I love that show. And do you remember it was on 7 on Sunday night? So I love that because
okay, this is what I don't remember. I guess I was too young. Was it a syndicated show then?
Nah, it was ABC if I'm not mistaken. But it was great because like that's when they had primetime started at 8 during the week. but on Sunday it was 7. Because I'm pretty sure Walt Disney started that. He's like, no, I want to go an hour earlier with Wonderful World of Disney.
Yeah,
and we're going to make it 2 hours. And because, you know, he had a good relationship with ABC. Now, like, Disney owns ABC. But they were like, yeah, do what you want, Walt. And so that was cool because the other networks were like, oh, great. I guess, you know, primetime starts at 7 now. So they got extra ad money and it worked out for everybody. But yeah, cool. That was whatever I was interested in. I think China Beach was on at 8 on Sunday because I was a little older. But I loved watching Voyager to like get me ready for that.
Well, and then there was enough episodes that it had to have gone into syndicated reruns, or I wouldn't have seen it. I don't think.
Oh, really? Yeah.
I had to go into reruns. It had to have.
I don't know about that.
What about you out there in the audience? Why don't you tell us, you nerds, huh? One of you as like as Voyager's fan fiction. I'm sure that you're in arm's reach.
We might be out aging the audience on that one. That's like Voyager's a long time ago.
Am I remembering that Phineas Bog? And did they have a hot air balloon?
I think, I don't know. 1982. That was a long time ago.
Loved it. And they would fall out of the sky, and then the Omni would tell them when they set things right. Yeah, that's one that we need to see back again.
I just checked real fast. Do you know who created that show? James Perriott. Do you know that guy? He's like the I don't know. He's a airport novel guy at the time.
Oh, okay.
So he's like, you know, John Grisham. So
I thought you were gonna say like Stephen J. Cannell or something.
Yeah, exactly. Elvis Yukon. Not my scene. I was 4. Yeah, we forgot. I'm old. Buck Rogers. That was
and Buck Rogers with Mel Blanc, voice of Mel Blanc as.
I love it's no N. It was Twicky.
It's Tweaky, not Twinkie.
Tweaky, yeah.
I wish it was Tweaky. Tweaky in here.
That's a big Tweaky.
Oh man, I got Tweaky sound. I got too many sound effects for my own good. I can't even find them when I need them.
Beep. There you go. That's pretty close.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So, all right. So what's on the? Oh, okay. Sci-Fi. This definitely counts. Do you watch Rick and Morty?
I don't. My son loves it. It's a cartoon.
Yeah. Does he still love it? Is he still into it?
No, he's 14 now, so he's kind of he's chasing a girl, so he doesn't. He does his homework. He's playing Red Dead Redemption right now. 2. I'm sorry. I should tell him. And text 3 or 4 of his buddies and a couple girls. That's all he does all night long. It's like when I was a kid, you had to like get on the phone, and the parents would say, you know, hello, and you'd be like, you'd have to go, hello, Mr. Johnson. This is Larry Young. Is Kathleen available? Right, in your best friggin' polite voice. And now
navigate the gatekeeper.
Yeah. My father used to. I have a sister, and my father would go. Somebody would call and goes, "Lisa there?" And my father would go, "Well, yes, she is." Click.
Perfect.
And then if you called back and said, "Oh, I'm sorry, this is Mike. Is Lisa there?" Yes. Oh, hang on a second. Those guys would get to talk to my sister.
I can't wait to stare down some poor schmuck who wants to date one of my daughters.
Oh, you're gonna be. There you go. You're going to be a high wall to cross.
It's going to be tough. And believe me, I already see it. Even in preschool, you see it starting to happen already. Like they just want to kind of like match up.
It's really funny, isn't it? Oh my God. Yeah, I remember that.
You know what I say about that?
That's different.
Cool sci-fi is lost on the new generations. Who even cares about Blade Runner? Well, I'll say this.
I agree 100%.
Well, but like, where's the cool new sci-fi that we need to see?
Here's what happens though, right? Because we had TV and we could catch up on, like, I saw a ton of sci-fi from the 60s and 70s on Saturday afternoon on my TV, right? But there's no way now with all the streaming stuff. all of that stuff is available. Like, holy shit, I saw the Logan's Run TV show is available on Tubi, right? So all this stuff is available, but there's no way to find it, right? Like, I just ran across that one day, and like, I don't know. I have this problem as an old man where you could look in TV Guide and say, okay, Buck Rogers is on, Thursday night at 9, and
I think you're
but
right.
you can't now. It's impossible. I don't even remember what I want to watch.
This is the double-edged sword, right? We've got an embarrassment of riches of TV and video, and like it's never been easier, like a click away. You don't even have to go to your TV, let alone to a movie theater. You can watch it. And it's tough to get that engagement. And then once you do, to stick with something, give it your time. That's what, because your time is the only thing that's worth anything.
And that's what March of the Independence is about, if I'm not mistaken.
That's correct, Larry. March of Independence.
Gonna spend your time wisely.
Their minds aren't engaged the same way. Everything's spoon-fed. I think that there's good stuff out there, dude. There's a lot of amazing, like, transgressive humor, like really weird shit out there. I'm gonna recommend. Larry, have you heard of Lasagna Cat?
No, I have not. It's probably a cartoon.
Well, no, it's not. It's based on Garfield.
Lasagna Cat?
Okay. Yeah, Lasagna Cat. And it's sort of a project. I think I'm gonna have to bring back some clips of that on a future series Star Trek. But it is one of the most, like, you dive into it, and at first it seems so banal and so it's like they do reenactments of Garfield strips.
Oh, that's
with a guy in a cat costume.
That's pretty funny. Is this
it is. Thing? And then they morph into these cute little, like, music parody videos. But then by the end of this thing, it is the darkest, most disturbing humor I have ever seen in my life.
Wow, that's high praise.
We're talking about, like, I don't want you mean to spoil it, but it's like Jim Davis is given birth as an aborted bloody fetus being eaten by, like, it is so and filmed in amazing. That's what's amazing about Lasagna Cat in general. It started out with these super low production values, and then by the end, it is the most amazing, craziest.
I love stuff like that.
Well, and they did a call-in thing. They said, here, call into this number, and all you have to do is say your name and how many sexual partners you've had. And so hundreds of people called into this thing, and then they made a video animating all of them. It's a 4-hour-long video of them, this animated loop. That's the craziest thing, and that's where we end up in the darkest place you can imagine by the end of that. You don't have to watch all 4 hours, but if you do, it is like, it's insanity, Larry. This is where I go. Yeah. It's the kind of thing that could never and would never be made by a corporation. Yeah. And that's the kind of stuff I'm after. So I'm looking for your recommendations out there, people. I'm looking for the crazy stuff. Shadowpunk says, I got to see this. And yes, you do. Just go to YouTube and just type in Lasagna Cat.
Steve Euchrin just sent me a instant message. He's like, dude, you got to watch Lasagna Cat. It's awesome.
It is pretty crazy. I mean, it's pretty well known at this point, I guess. Certainly millions of people watched some of the videos. And the little ones, if you subscribe to Lasagna Cat, though, you just get little videos. You see these little 2-minute videos, and then occasionally a 5 or 10-minute video that turn into these music video parodies that are great. You'll want to watch them, and you will laugh. But then it just goes down the rabbit hole, the craziest thing you've ever saw. And ultimately, these guys created it just to be like their calling card, kind of, and get work. And they ended up doing a lot of TV commercials that you've seen, like those crazy Old Spice ads with Terry Crews.
Oh, yeah.
Like their studio ended up doing that stuff.
That's cool.
I
like that. The what about Boba Fett? We talked pretty much about Boba Fett, didn't we?
We talked about it a lot, but I
loved it. I loved it. I can't wait.
I'm gonna give it a. Like I said, I give it a B plus A minus kind of territory. It did not knock it out of the park. It didn't exceed how I felt about Mandalorian, and it had a chance to. I felt like it could have.
Nah, that's high praise, right? Mandalorian.
True.
Mandalorian came out of nowhere and gave us everything we didn't know we wanted. Boba Fett was working against pre-existing expectations. See what I mean? So you're not talking about the same thing. Like, here's this thing I don't know anything about, and it's a B minus. That seems like an A, right? But then here's this thing that's a B minus, solid entertainment, and that's like a disappointment.
Yeah, no, like, exactly. Exactly. Even at its worst, I still liked it, and I'm wanting to watch more of it.
I liked how that happened to Man of Steel and Justice League and everything. It's like Justice League made $888 million and was considered a disappointment because it didn't crack $1 billion, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, at what point do you have $888 million coming in and that's like, oh, nice try. And we're kind of disappointed. I mean, that's how I felt about the reactions to Boba Fett. I'm like,
Okay, well, not to bring it back to March of Independence here, Larry, but like that's the thing. The stakes are so high on these things, and I really feel like they do not need to be. Like, they don't need to spend $200 million to make a really, really entertaining movie, even a science fiction or action epic.
Well, yeah, but it's like, what's the audience trained for, right? Like, you could write a 2-hour movie that's, Waiting for Godot or My Dinner with Andre in the Star Wars universe, but people would friggin' riot, right? It could be like the most amazing thing ever. Like, do Han and Greedo talking for 2 hours, right? In the cantina. The people would cry blood out of their eyes. Like,
I would too. I think we don't need that. We just need.
Oh, I would love something like that. Oh my God, would I love
I just wanted to see. I think all anybody wanted to see was a little bit more thoughtful world building. That's all anybody ever wants to see when they bring these new franchises back, is like, show me the good classic stuff that's great and give me some more. Give me a little something new to add on to that too.
Here's the thing that I don't get from a lot of the critics of that is that because we've seen what happened with Marvel, right? I mean, nobody knew who Iron Man was in 2008. And in 2013, we have 3 Spider-Mans redeeming all this other shit from everywhere. And that's blew the doors off. And Doctor Strange 2 in May is going to be 10 times more of that, right? Like if the David Hasselhoff Nick Fury doesn't show up, I'm going to be like, oh, there's Nick Fury, right? And so it's not like Favreau did Iron Man. He set the template for all this stuff. So it's not like he doesn't know how to do world building, right? And that's all they're doing. Like, him and Filoni have just figured out, well, we're just doing the Star Wars show now. And some parts of it are going to be called Ahsoka, and some parts are going to be called The Mandalorian. But, like, it's just one big fucking thing, like Marvel is now. And the kids don't get that. It's like, well, man.
I like that he did it. I like the way he did it, and I like that they went. Nobody else has pulled off the cinematic universe. Nobody. They've tried. Nobody really pulled it off.
Yeah, because they can't, because you have to wait 10 years before stuff starts paying up.
That's it. Nobody has the patience for the long game or the vision to set it up that way.
Well, the corporate guys don't, right? I mean, I can guarantee you, if they had let Snyder finish his Superman thing, the five things with Flash and everything, and then let him do Justice League, the same thing would have happened. It's like you gotta, but they panicked, right? Like, nobody gets it. Well, nobody liked Moby Dick on Chapter 3 either, right? You gotta let these things pan out.
Oh, sorry, I hit the wrong button, but I just wanted to say, here's great 2 back-to-back comments. Han and Greedo, that would be great. And then the problem with Boba Fett is no one's going to make a better show than what you did with your toys. Dave and Favs did their best, right? That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Like,
surprising.
That's what that show was. I didn't even occur to me. I think it was you who said it online somewhere about like, you got Boba Fett riding on the Rancor toy, attacking the city. Like that is something undoubtedly that one of those guys did, right? Like with their toys. Yeah. It's such a toy box moment. And the fact that we all had our different spin on it lets you be more picky than you should, I guess, about these characters.
We did talk about that, didn't we? Because it was I remember telling you that Filoni had spray painted an extra Boba Fett silver. So his Boba Fett had somebody to talk to, and that's where the Mandalorian came from.
Oh, really?
So yeah, so I have no doubt
that one.
I have no doubt in my mind that either him or Favreau had put Boba Fett on the top of a Rancor and went and crushed Barbie's Malibu townhouse or something, Yeah, I'm looking forward to the Obi-Wan show, though, I have to say.
Just that one, I haven't seen any stills or any like images from it yet, but everything I hear tells me it could be good. At this, we need to take it in just like make sure it doesn't go too far down the like philosophizing rabbit hole.
I just can't wait because Ewan McGregor was always saying stuff like, yeah, I'm a giant Star Wars fan. I love those 3 movies. And then there were the 3 movies I was in. He would sort of like kind of cap it a little. And then there was the stories of him on set, like they kept blowing scenes because he's going like anybody would, right? Like, dude, we'll put that in later. So, but now he's like sort of Obi-Wan's age. Well, I guess Mark Hamill's Obi-Wan's age. He's getting there, right? So I'm really interested to see what he does with the part now that he's got some life under his belt. I don't know.
What is this? Kumail Nanjiani's playing character for the original series, but not disclosed.
So I haven't talked about this with Ukraine, but thanks for the lob. Do you know who it is? It's the little Indian kid from Phantom Menace. Remember there was a little Greedo race. What are they, Rondians? There was like a girl, a Rondian, little Indian kid that ran around with Anakin before the pod race. And so everybody says that because, he's Indian. But I would love that because I love Kumail. He's the funniest guy ever. His stand-up is crazy funny.
Oh, I haven't seen his stand-up.
My son is super into comedians, professional comedians. And he threw Kumail's first album up on Pandora one day. And I couldn't drive because I was laughing so hard.
Huh.
And so it made me love Kingo and the Eternals because I'm like, all right, this guy's good. And he was Kumail Nanjiani. So put him in Obi-Wan, and that's like a dream. I have a new costume I have to get together because that guy's going to be amazing. Kitster. Yeah, I think I even got there's Sagasag. I think I even got that from Chris. So credit where credit's due. I think I read that on his Facebook. Thanks, Chris.
You have been taught. You said you really like the Eternals. I haven't watched it yet.
Oh man, I love the Eternals, but I'm the guy that just said I would love to see Han and Greedo talk.
Yeah, you're the Larry Larioso contrary. Sometimes I never know how to take
that. It's just like I'm super open-minded compared to regular nerds. It's that the Eternals was like I'll fight somebody that says that's not a Marvel movie because I think that's the most Marvel of all the movies. It just wigs everybody out because everyone has forgotten how to experience entertainment. Up above, somebody said in the live chat that people aren't used to interacting with their stuff anymore. They want it spoon-fed. I think the comment was. But the Eternals throws everybody off because it's not about the Eternals. It's about mankind, right? Mankind is the protagonist of the Eternals. It's like the Eternals are there because of mankind. So
I definitely want to give it a watch.
I loved it. There's people if you're looking for flaws, you're gonna find them, right? But it starts off. Remember in Ant-Man where they're punching. It starts off in the jail. They're punching, and then there's a cool like Santana-esque song. I know it's not Santana, but they cut to the Marvel thing, and they have like a cool needle drop of music, right? And they do this exact same thing in the Eternals. They basically, it's the beginning of 2001. Instead of handing him a bone and saying that's a murder weapon, one of the one of them has the power of transmutation and turns like a little lava glass knife into this cool, elaborate, made thing that gives them the idea that they have art and culture. And it cuts to Pink Floyd's Time, and it's perfect. It's like, they set you up. This is a Marvel movie. Give it to me. And then, because I'm not familiar with the comics, so I don't care about who's doing what based on the source material, but it looks like living Jack Kirby, and they have Jack Kirby stuff everywhere, and the design is echoed in it. I don't know what people are complaining about.
Well, I mean, I'm going to give that one a shot. I'm definitely going to give it a shot, but it wasn't one that like I had to get out there immediately to see. Like it almost like slipped in. I didn't even know it was coming. I didn't see how it fit in.
Here's the thing. It's like it suffered because of the coronavirus, but this is the thing. The other thing that the audience doesn't get, they expect that movie's going to make sense, right? Because Steve said in the chat just now, it's a world building film. All that stuff is going to be crazy 3 movies from now, and like half the country is.
There you go. When we get the Galactus payoff in the FF Silver Surfer film,
right, and Icarus and Kingo and all those guys,
people are going to be looking back to this thing. Okay,
exactly. So just sit there and take your medicine, right? You have to go through chapter 1 before you get to chapter 5. That's just how it is.
Fair enough, Larry. I like that.
I like how professional critics just don't know what to make of Marvel movies, because they try to review and critique them as standalone movies, and they're just not.
Okay, but wait a minute. What about other filmmakers like Scorsese and most recently what's his face?
Yeah, Scorsese.
Winery guy. Coppola,
yeah. Well, here's the thing. They're talking about.
Well, wait a minute. Before you say that, let me ask you one thing. He said they keep making the same movie over and over again. Do you think he's seen them? Do you think he's? I mean, I know he probably watches a lot of movies, and he's undoubtedly seen some of the Marvel movies.
I can't speak to what where he's coming from, other than like professionally, he's looking at this stuff as movies, and they're just not. They're chapters in a book called Marvel Studios, and the chapters are just taking movie form instead of paper form. But Marvel can set something up and have it pay off 3 movies later.
Yeah,
no one else can do that. So if a guy who grows up in the 70s of auteur film, he's not going to know what to make of this at all. And that's the thing about professional critics, is that they don't know what to make of it either, because it doesn't fit what they've trained their whole lives to do.
Yeah.
And I think,
mean, in a way, it's a throwback to the serial eras, the adventure serials that all this stuff came from to begin with.
Yeah. I guess.
But yeah, no, him as an auteur movie maker who takes, X years of his life and dedicates it and comes out with an Apocalypse Now or a Godfather or whatever. And then the formulaic stories and the pattern that he's probably seen, what might seem a little bit lazy. And that's where I do start to agree that why can't we just get like a really good screenwriter to write one of these things and make it a little bit different, like stray from that formula, but still make it a good movie.
First of all, I think Marvel has some really good screenwriters.
I agree with that. Some of them better than others, though.
But here's the thing. The remit for them is completely different from the rest of the industry, right? So Scorsese's thing that they're very formulaic and they're all the same is actually, I agree with them. But that's because they're bricks in a wall that Marvel is building. True. You don't have every brick in a wall be something different. And that's just, he's looking at one end of the funnel and Marvel's looking at the other, basically, right?
It really is more comic booky in that sense.
It really is. And
that's a pejorative to his generation of filmmakers.
Yeah,
right?
That's an excellent point. They think comic books are stupid. So, all right.
They
You know?
are, but stupid in all the best ways, right? Like that's the beauty of the
Yeah,
comic.
I mean, I never argue taste with people, right? It's you think it's stupid, okay, that's cool. You're right. Everybody's right from their point of view.
Well, they just say like like the foundational arts. Like I feel like comics is one of those ones that's like so at the core, and these movies are so at the surface of pop culture. Uh, that there's a disconnect. Like the people that these movies are meant for are not the same people that were like hardcore comic book fans or anything like that.
Right, right.
But it's more like back when comics were mainstream and it was meant to be a wide stream thing. It was just like fun, fairly easy to consume entertainment, hitting you in the eyeballs though with cool looking stuff.
Mhm. Yeah, so that's the same thing. It's just, I mean, that's kind of why I don't read comics that much anymore, because all the yayas that I used to get out of a well laid out and designed page, you know, I can watch Haley Atwell in a shirt that's 2 sizes too small.
Uh-huh.
Like, I mean, it's like, okay, like,
Well, yeah, I think maybe that's just that the comics, like the superhero genre now, where it used to be the tech wasn't there to do it justice.
right.
It is there, so now you got to look for whatever those other types of stories that you can only tell in comics. I think there's still enough of those.
Oh, absolutely. No, I don't think comics are going away, but I don't think Marvel's going away either. I think
Yeah.
Scorsese and Coppola will be dead in the ground before long after the last Marvel. I mean, me too, right? There-
Hey, speaking of comics, Larry, I just got in the mail a huge stack of comics from Steve Bissett.
oh yeah, oh Steve,
And
he's
so
got a
we're gonna
lot
do a
of
deep
good.
dive, and Steve's like, "I'll come back on your show anytime." So we're gonna do like a deep dive on maybe on Tyrant, his dinosaur
Yeah, Tyrant.
comic pretty soon. That
Man,
should be
I
fun.
loved his rare bit fiends so much. I can't even tell you.
That's Veach.
Oh, Veach, Bissett, right? Of course,
But ironically,
I
he
got my
also
Swamp Thing
yeah.
geniuses confused. I'm sorry, guys.
Well, and he sent me also though a book of Dream comics that he illustrated a dream in too. And Rarebit Fiends is that other one that I'm gonna bring Rick Veach back too on the show. I've been meaning to reach out to him, and his brother Tom Veach, no, wrote a lot of Star Wars comics,
Uh-huh.
so there's a sci-fi connection there. He just passed away of COVID
Oh,
recently.
dang.
Yeah, but
Did
we're gonna
Veach?
try and bring Tom back in and talk about Rare But Fiends because that is my ultimate Rick Veach comic. I think it's the greatest thing he's ever done.
He did Max Immortal though, too, right?
He's doing Max Immortal. He's doing
Yeah.
Kid Max Immortal
Huh.
as we speak, as well as new issues of Rare Bit Fiend.
Oh man, I just need that T-shirt.
Well, he's doing the Amazon print on demand thing for his books. Great package. We looked at him on the show before.
Those were print on demand, huh?
Print on demand.
That's crazy.
100 pages for $9.99. 100 plus.
That whole thing would have helped me back in the day because for some reason we had a really big fan presence in New Zealand, and but it made our comics so expensive because they had to be shipped over, right?
Oh wow.
And so that gets passed on, and they were like, there's nothing we can do about everybody having to pay out the nose for Batman and Superman and Spider-Man and stuff. But for independent comics, we could sell more if they were priced like New Zealand independent comics, right? And I was trying to figure out a way to print stuff there for Australia and New Zealand. I just could never figure it out. It always kept getting backburnered. So if you had print on demand, oh my God, we would have.
Kiwis dig AAT, huh?
I think there's a guy at Arkham Comics. This guy Jeremy he just loved the stuff we were doing with Warren and Brian Wood and the astronauts.
Yeah.
He loved Black Diamond and stuff, and so that went out into all the other stuff. Like, do you remember the book we did called Tales from Fish Camp? It was one of my friends, Pam, was sending me emails. She went to go cut fish in Alaska, and she's this gorgeous girl. It's like, really? like she'd write something. I'm like, after the third one, I was like, honey, this is a book. Stop putting those online and just tell people a book is coming out. So anyway, they in New Zealand for some reason they love that.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, print on demand is probably making Bezos a bunch of money.
Yeah, who knows, man? That's such a weird company. I read how they barely make any money at all from the selling of stuff at Amazon, and it's all their back end web services.
Yeah.
That power not just them, they power everything out there uses AWS. So it feels like we're in a sci-fi tomorrow today, Larry. I'll tell you.
We really are. We are. I'm trying to look about something that just even thumb drives. I mean, think about this. This is 64 megabytes. My first stuff I did on 4488 SciQuests. Do you remember those things?
Oh, SciQuest drives?
Yeah, they're the size of telephone books.
Sure.
And this is 20 of them. The little thing is. So we are living in the future.
Yeah, we are. But, what are you going to do? Oh, wait, Larry. You know what that sound means, don't you?
Yeah, it's time to eject Ben Finney.
It means it's time for a serious Star Trek clip or serious sci-fi clip. I think I got something here to bring us out on. Let me see if I can find something good and fun. We talked about pod racing, and I showed this clip last time, but it's the only non-Star Trek thing I have. So let's watch one more time. Hyperbowl. It's 1 minute clip.
Oh, that was cool. I
just thought it was so cool. I want to show it again on Serious Sci-Fi. We'll be back next week, hopefully next Friday at noon.
Yes, absolutely.
Where at, though?
On the internet.
Right. Okay, we'll see you next time.
They jitter.
Your mouth's a champion.